I got the Sacramento Kings next, just because maybe some people were high on them coming into the season, but they've. I didn't really have too many high expectations. I had high expectations for Keegan Murray as an individual player, but in terms of them getting into an actual contention window,
is it crazy?
I never saw it.
What?
An F?
An F seems insane.
What about a D?
I'll give them a C+.
Okay. I have them at B-.
I just feel like they're stuck in a situation where, Fox is
now
great.
his hating's coming out.
No. Fox is, maybe F was crazy, but Fox is great. Sabonis is great.
He had the Pistons at F.
Because I think it's a different level of expectation.
I understand.
Fox is great. Sabonis is great. Keegan has been playing amazing.
Hell yeah.
But they're still, I feel like, two steps away from competing at a high level.
It's because their defense is still not good.
But they didn't choose to go out and make a move. And I understand it might not have been a move made like that was there for them, but I feel like they didn't even attempt to try to figure out this roster.
Wasn't it they wanted to try? Well, they were looking into Pascal. That was one of the projected destinations.
I thought
They didn't want to resign, right?
Yeah, that might have been what it was. But I look at the big three of this team, and honestly, they've gotten better in their own way in their each
Monk
regards.
is the third, right?
No, I'm talking about Keegan Murray. Monk's been really fucking good, most definitely. Would you say he's the number 3?
Could argue on nights.
Okay. I only just say the big 3 for the future. I see it's Keegan, it's
Keegan
De'Aaron.
like 2 years older, younger than Monk.
No, most definitely.
Okay.
No, Monk's a very, very good 6-man off the bench. He's a very good basketball player.
Maybe F was strong, but relative to expectations.
Because Sabonis has gotten better relative to last year, which is saying something.
But both Fox got better.
Everyone's getting better and they got worse.
And they just...
It's not... I don't know if they got worse per se or the league got better.
But they didn't get better with
They didn't get better either, yeah.
Exactly.
They got a bit worse.
They got internally better.
Yeah.
Not as a team,
it's weird because as a team, they didn't get better. But like I just mentioned, their big 3
individually, internally, yeah.
I think at the end of the day, I know you love Sabonis. They don't have a dude that could win them a championship on this team. That's kind of what you're going to run into.
De'Aaron Fox is a playoff riser. At least we saw that against Sacramento.
Fox and Sabonis,
Fox
and Sabonis aren't going to win you a title, with all due respect to the Kings fans out there.
That Keegan Sabonis Fox is really good.
Keep it on it, like.
Keep it funky, bro.
But Keegan, I think we've highlighted this in the past. Defensively, he's been a lot better. Malik Monk should be 6th man of the year. If not top 2, top 3 in consideration. Sabonis has gotten better. Fox started off the year pretty hot. Kind of had some issues in the middle of the season and lately, but being the 8th seed right now, after just having the season you did last year, where you were a top 3 seed in the West, and then lost in the first round, even though it was against the Warriors and it was pretty split publicly who would win one way or the other. I would expect a bit better than the 8th seed.
The Kings are 32-23. If they were in the Eastern Conference, they'd be tied for the 5th seed right now.
I feel like we say that with
That's
every
still
team.
pretty average.
But he said D, F.
I'm a C.
Oh no, that was crazy.
I did apologize.
That's why I started with D.
Wait, what do you have them at? C+?
I gave him a B-.
I don't know about that one.
So we're right there.
No, me and you are fine.
Yeah, we're knocking on each other's
me and you
doors.
are fine. I'm not having issue
I'm
with
at
you.
C. I'm at the lower end. Ribs at the lowest end.
No, I said I
mean,
mean,
in the
think
grand
if you're a
scheme of
Kings
things,
fan-
the West is great. The Kings' offense is still really good. Their defense is lagging behind.
If you're a Kings fan, I think you're disappointed about this season, how it's going.
But again, this is a great record. Like in the grand scheme of things, this is a
Can
great
they beat
record.
anybody in the first round?
That's unfair because the West is great.
That's the expectation.
No, but that's
not
the
unfair.
point.
That's the reality.
That's not their expectation.
You're
They lost in the
giving
first
them a-
round last
They
year.
gotta
get better.
They gotta get out the
You're
first
giving
round.
them a
But
B
they
because
have
they're
gotten better.
No,
They
you're
have gotten
giving
better.
them
The
a
big
B
three has gotten better.
because they got better, but they can't seem to get more wins than other teams.
But they have 32 wins.
And they were a second seed last
very
year.
firmly above 500.
They actually have basically the same win percentage this year and last year.
The West got better.
But they did not get better with the West.
But
You're supposed to get better.
But again,
Memphis didn't get better. They fell off and they got hurt and they fell
That's
down.
unfortunate.
Phoenix
But again-
got better. Denver got better. Minnesota honestly just got healthier, but they got slightly better too.
The Clippers got healthier,
better.
yes.
They did not progress. They decided to wait and not make a move.
They were just a
and sit
5th seed
there.
a couple days
So
ago.
you don't think
my
this has
point.
been a disappointing season for them?
Not really.
You don't think they should be higher? They should at least finish with a top 5, 4 seed?
Again, because of how close that 5 through 9 is. Well, I'll stop at 8 realistically because there's like a 3-game gap between the
But you don't
Kings.
believe in the 5-19 Dallas is in it, and you think Dallas would be.
No, they're definitely one.
I'll be honest. There's no world the Kings win a playoff series.
No,
this
I
year.
don't think
There's
so
no world.
either.
That's
They might not win. They might not win
But
the playing game.
I feel like if you're a Kings fan, you understand your expectation, especially after
If it just-
underwhelming.
That sounds harsh.
If you don't
underwhelming
make
in
the
playoffs.
playoffs,
No, they should though. In terms of being.
What if they meet the Lakers or the Warriors in the play-in?
the
they're probably
Suns,
not their
Lakers,
underdogs.
and Warriors are going to be in the play.
But let me ask you: Are Kings fans not going into that understanding they're underdogs?
I
No,
feel
they're
like
going in
Kings
thinking they
fans
can
are-
win.
Kings fans went into the season saying last year we went to the playoffs.
We're
we
here.
took the Warriors to 7 games.
We were in the playoff
This year we got to win
series.
the playoff series. what you said is harsh, but let's go over it. Do they beat the Nuggets?
No.
Do they beat the Clippers?
No.
Do they beat
No shot.
OKC?
No.
Do they beat the Mavericks?
No.
Probably
Phoenix?
not.
No.
Do they beat the Suns? You said no. Do they beat the
Probably
Pelicans?
not.
That's
Pelicans-
the closest.
But Pelicans,
Matchup for them.
realistically, they're not going to play the
The
Pelicans.
Pelicans are the most
in the first.
underappreciated
Do they beat the
team in
Lakers?
league.
Probably
So you
not.
think the Pelicans win?
I like the
So what you're
Pelicans.
telling me is that the Kings would not win a
But
playoff.
I feel like that's
It
not them
sounds like
being
they're the
disappointed.
10th
Drew,
best team
they
in the
can't
West
even
right
beat
now.
the play-in teams.
I don't feel like it's an indictment on them, more so giving praise to the other teams.
it's also an diamond. It could be both.
It's both. It
But
is.
again, we just went over it. Their big three are better this year than they were last year. And you just mentioned their win percentage is the same as it was relatively to last year. You look at the West, they simply got
So,
better.
let me ask you a question.
They got healthier.
sure, but
if
like-
they lose in the first round and Sabonis does not play well,
That's a
Fox
different
plays well, do you
conversation.
drop their grade?
Of course. It's a
Okay.
different conversation.
Wait, hold up. I don't understand
I
that too
think
much.
Because Sabonis
I don't
has
either because he
no,
just said he doesn't believe they're going to
because
get
it's
the
No,
about
first
no,
round.
because I
expectations.
say-
It's not
I
about
say
who
it
got
is.
better. The
but the
expectations
expectation
was.
is make the playoffs. If you're a Kings fan, your expectation should
And
be
win a first
we're
round
playing.
series.
We
win
just
the-
said that we don't think they're even going to make it out of the play-in.
Again, the West is tough though. It's not an indictment on them.
But
the
the
Kings
West,
last
we
year
knew
had
the West was
48
tough
wins.
coming into the year.
The Kings last year had 48 wins.
they seem like they could get to around 40
For sure, but I think if you're trying to progress each year, they should be at least at 50 this year. That's why it was hard to improve off of last year because they snuck up on teams. I'm not going to give them a pass because the Cavaliers, what is their expectation in the East? I mean, where do people have them in the East? I think it's a similar expectation. The Cavaliers and the Kings, the Cavaliers have just been better this year, and they've been able to prove
I don't
themselves
know if
to the point
that's-
that you believe in
I
them.
wouldn't say that that's true per se for the fact of Donovan Mitchell is just better as a basketball player than everyone on the
So
Kings.
let's do it this way then. If the Kings were in the East, do they beat the Celtics in a playoff series?
No.
No.
Do they
They
beat,
could beat the Pacers. They
Ca-
could beat the Sixers.
could
as
they beat the
stand
Cavaliers
right now.
or the Knicks or the Bucks?
I would favor the Cavaliers. They have the better player, and the two interior would cause hell
Sabonis
for
would be in
Sabonis.
hell.
Yes.
I think I would favor all three teams.
So we're talking about the Kings in the West.
not
Would
even
you
a four-
favor the Sixers? Would you favor the Pacers?
With Joel
If the
Embiid,
Six-
100%.
Wait, the
Sixers.
Kings aren't just going to walk over the Pacers.
I'm not saying walk
Because they
over.
also
That's a
can't
seven-game
guard.
series.
It's a good
Yeah,
series,
that's a
but I'm
series.
saying you're giving them a chance. Is my
Oh, yeah,
question.
for sure, for sure.
All right.
Against a team that is similar to them in the East. That is
Agreed.
literally their combination.
where
I
we
agree.
land, where we land right now, though, is that the Kings can't win a playoff series in the West, and in the East, they're nothing more
They
than
need
a
a
first
really,
round.
really good, favorable matchup.
They're nothing more than advancing past the first
Like
round.
I said,
team.
they would be tied for fifth right now, so they would match up against the Knicks.
L.
Who would you have? The Knicks?
I would take the Knicks. You know my opinion on the Knicks, but it'd be a good series.
It would be a good series.
They have
If
a puncher's
you-
chance in that series.
If you are a team that's ceiling is the second round, making the first round at best in both conferences, you're an average team. Below average team, I would say.
below,
Yeah.
It's probably average.
playoff
Probably
teams,
average. 'Cause that's like the
relative to-
15th best team.
Relative
Yeah.
to playoff teams,
Uh-huh.
I mean, when you have teams that would be licking their chops to face you in the first round,
Every team wants the Kings in the first round.
That's not a B grade.
But
That's
again-
to me a C. C plus.
but they're better than last year. Like the big three is better than
But
last year.
I think we're getting lost that a lot of these grades I feel like we've been doing were based on expectations. We were not expecting to go into this saying the Kings might even make the playoffs. Right now, we're having the conversation. We just listed 9 teams in the West we think are better or are going to win in a playoff
They're not
situation
a
slash
foregone
play-in.
lock to make the playoffs. They can fall in the
can.
play-in.
They have been
If they go
disappointing.
up against the Lakers or Golden State,
they have
I'm
a
taking
good
both
win
teams.
percentage.
Because even if they say they rise to 5, because it's a 2.5 game
Yes.
gap between 5 and 8, you're playing the Nuggets, Clippers, OKC, or Wolves in the first round.
You don't even want that as a kid.
But again, that 5 through 8, regardless of who you are, does not
wow.
matter what team you are, you're not happy in that first round matchup.
I don't disagree.
No, I think Dallas is happy if they play OKC.
No, right now they would play the Clippers.
I think they're fine with that.
Are they happy with
I
that?
think
I don't know if
Dallas
they're
is-
happy with that. but-
That's my point.
I
You're
think
not
Dallas
happy.
is fine with that.
No, but the difference is that the Mavericks have a chance against all those
Dallas
teams.
is
The
that's
Kings
a matchup.
don't.
That's a matchup they like. They match up well against the.
But if
are
I'm the Clippers,
better?
I
Yes.
go in with the confidence, hey, we've done it before, we
of
can
course,
do
but
it
Wait,
again.
hold up.
Of
But
course.
I'm kind
I
of
know
stuck
it's a
on this
different team with
idea
the Mavs.
that, for one, the Kings made the playoffs last year.
Yes.
So you're telling me this year, the expectation was we'll just lose in the first round
That's
again?
not the expectation.
That's why I think it's been disappointing. And just to contextualize the disappointment and put it into numbers, De'Aaron Fox this year has not been the same fourth quarter player he was last
sure.
year. He actually has fallen off a cliff in the fourth quarter this year opposed to last year.
Correct.
That's pretty disappointing for me. Where
agree.
last year, every time in the fourth quarter, I thought he was going to do something heroic. This year, they're blowing games.
They are.
So I think they're a disappointing team this year for me.
That's
personally.
tough. That's tough for me to sit with, but I get where you guys are coming from. Understanding of the expectation coming in, I just see the win percentage and think, hey, if they're in the other conference, it's different conversation, or at least slightly different.